My agent sent me over this kind of PDF, and it was the presentation of this Sampagita project that Nike had made. I was like 2 nights before.
A 22-year-old sits across from a top 10 player. The cameras are rolling. The conversation is casual. And then she reaches up, touches a small white flower tucked into her hair, and smiles. That single gesture just triggered a commercial phenomenon that nobody in tennis merchandising saw coming. Alex Eala. The name might not be on every tennis fan's lips yet, but in the Philippines, right now, that name means everything. And after what just happened during her appearance on Jessica Pegula's podcast, the rest of the world is starting to pay very close attention. Because this was not just another athlete interview. This was the moment when a rising tennis star confirmed something that her fans had been waiting for. Something that Nike had been building toward. Something that carries the weight of an entire nation's pride on its shoulders. The Sampagita collection. Named after the national flower of the Philippines. Designed specifically for Alex Eala. And the moment she announced it was going live, the response was immediate. It was emotional, and it was absolutely massive. But here is what makes this story so much more fascinating than just another merchandise drop. This is about what happens when a global sports brand recognizes that influence is not just about your ranking. It is about who you represent. It is about the passion you ignite. And it is about understanding that in certain markets, certain athletes carry a cultural force that transcends their current position on the WTA ladder. Alex Eala is ranked outside the top 100. She has not won a WTA title yet. She is still fighting her way through qualifiers and challengers. And yet Nike looked at her and saw something that made the move decisively, strategically, and with absolute conviction. They saw the entire Filipino tennis community rallying behind her with a devotion that money cannot manufacture. They saw sold-out merchandise every time they released anything connected to her name. They saw engagement numbers that looked like they belonged to players ranked 50 or 60 spots higher. And they understood exactly what they had. So they doubled down. They created a collection centered around the Sampagita flower, a symbol so deeply embedded in Filipino identity that wearing it is not just a fashion choice. It is a statement. It is pride made visible. It is carrying your roots with you onto every court, every practice session, every appearance. And when Eala sat down with Jessica Pegula, one of the most respected and genuinely beloved figures in women's tennis, and confirmed that the collection was here, the reaction from Filipino fans was instant. Social media exploded. Stores reported surges in interest. And suddenly, people who had never heard of Alex Eala were asking, who is this player, and why does she have an entire nation behind her? That podcast moment was not an accident. It was a culmination of years of strategic brand building, authentic connection with her community, and Nike recognizing that the future of sports marketing is not just about the player with the highest rank. It is about the player with the deepest cultural resonance. During the conversation, Eala spoke about receiving the presentation for the Sampagita project just days before her Wimbledon match. She described opening the PDF from her agent, seeing the concept, seeing the flower, seeing the design, and feeling something click into place. This was not just merchandise. This was her story being told through fabric and design. This was Nike saying, we see you, we see where you come from, and we are going to help you share that with the world. The collection itself is stunning in its simplicity. A crisp white shirt with a subtle green accent. The Sampagita flower positioned exactly where it needs to be, elegant and unmistakable. The matching headband that Eala has made iconic. White shoes that complete the entire aesthetic. It is not loud. It is not trying to scream for attention. It is refined, meaningful, and deeply intentional. And the Filipino community received it exactly as it was intended. Because this is not just about looking good on a tennis court. This is about a young woman who trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, who fought her way through the junior ranks, who won the U.S. Open girls title in 2022, and who is now carrying the hopes of millions every time she steps between the lines. Nike did not just create a product. They created a bridge between a global brand and a fan base that had been waiting for exactly this kind of recognition. And the numbers are starting to reflect just how powerful that connection really is. But let's rewind for a second. Because to understand why this Sampagita collection matters so much, you need to understand just how rare Alex Eala's journey actually is. The Philippines is not a tennis powerhouse. It never has been. This is a basketball nation, a boxing nation, a country where tennis courts are scarce, where training facilities are limited, and where the pathway to professional tennis has historically been almost non-existent. There is no infrastructure that churns out top 100 players. There is no system in place that makes this journey easy. And yet here is Alex Eala, breaking through barriers that have stopped every single Filipino player before her. She is the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles title in history. Think about that. In the entire history of tennis in the Philippines, no one had done what she did at the 2022 U.S. Open Juniors. She stood on that court in New York, held that trophy, and rewrote what was possible for every young player back home watching her. But winning in juniors is one thing. Making the transition to the professional tour, that is where dreams go to die for most players. The gap between junior success and WTA survival is massive, unforgiving, and filled with players who had similar junior resumes but never broke through. Eala has been grinding. She has been traveling to obscure challenger events in countries most people could not find on a map. She has been dealing with injuries, with tough draws, with the psychological weight of an entire nation expecting her to become something that has never existed before, a Filipino Grand Slam contender. And through all of that, Nike was watching. They were tracking her progress. They were measuring not just her results, but her impact. And what they saw convinced them that this was an investment worth making at a level that very few players at her ranking ever receive. Because here's the part that most people miss when they talk about athlete sponsorships. Brands are not just buying your current ranking. They are buying your trajectory, your marketability, your ability to move products in specific regions, and your cultural relevance. Coco Gauff was not a top 10 player when New Balance signed her to a deal that turned heads across the industry. Naomi Osaka was not a Grand Slam champion when brands started circling. Emma Raducanu had barely played professional matches when the offers started pouring in. What all of them had was something that transcended their current ranking. They had stories that people connected with. They had fan bases that were passionate and engaged. They had the kind of cultural moment that brands dream about attaching themselves to. Alex Eala has that exact same quality in the Southeast Asian market, especially in the Philippines, where every match is streamed by thousands, where her social media posts generate engagement that rivals players ranked in the top 20, and where the appetite for anything connected to her name has proven to be absolutely relentless. Nike saw that, and instead of waiting to see if she would break into the top 50 first, they moved early. They secured the partnership while the momentum was building, not after it had already peaked. That is smart business. That is understanding that timing in sports marketing is everything. And the Sampagita collection is just one piece of a much larger strategy. In the lead up to major tournaments, Nike has been releasing limited pieces tied to Eala and Filipino heritage. Small drops, strategic releases, each one creating buzz, each one selling out quickly, each one reinforcing the connection between Eala, Nike, and the Filipino community. It is the same playbook that luxury brands use. Create scarcity, build anticipation, make people feel like they are part of something exclusive. And when you finally release the full collection, the demand is already there, waiting to explode. That is exactly what happened when Eala made the announcement on Pegula's podcast. The Filipino fan base did not need convincing. They did not need to be sold on why this mattered. They already knew. They had been waiting for this. And the moment Eala gave them the green light, they moved. Stores across the Philippines reported immediate interest. Online retailers saw traffic spikes. Social media was flooded with fans posting photos of themselves in the collection, tagging Eala, sharing their pride, turning the merchandise into a movement. And this is where Nike's strategy reveals its brilliance. They did not just make a product. They made a symbol. They understood that for Filipino fans, wearing that Sampagita flower is not about fashion. It is about identity. It is about seeing themselves represented on a global stage in a sport that has never centered them before. Every time someone puts on that headband, that shirt, those shoes, they are making a statement. They are saying, we are here. We belong in this sport. And we have a champion who represents us. That is the kind of brand loyalty that money cannot buy, That is a kind of emotional connection that turns customers into lifelong advocates. And Nike knows exactly how valuable that is. Now let's talk about the podcast itself. Because the setting of this announcement was not random. Jessica Pegula choosing to sit down with Alex Eala tells you something important about where Eala stands in the eyes of her peers. Pegula is not just another top 10 player. She is one of the most respected voices in women's tennis. She is thoughtful, genuine, and incredibly selective about who she platforms. Her podcast is not about chasing clicks. It is about real conversations with people she finds interesting, people she respects, people who have something worth saying. And she chose Alex Eala. That alone is a signal. It tells you that the tennis community sees Eala as more than just a promising young player grinding through challengers. They see her as someone with a perspective worth hearing. Someone whose journey matters. Someone who represents something bigger than just individual success. During the conversation, Eala was not performing. She was not giving rehearsed answers or sticking to talking points. She was genuinely excited. You could hear it in her voice when she talked about the Sampagita project. She described the moment her agent sent over the presentation, just 2 nights before her Wimbledon match, and how the message behind it resonated so deeply with her. It was so beautiful, she said. The message behind it was great. I felt that it fit me so much. That authenticity is exactly why her fan base is so devoted. Eala has never pretended to be something she is not. She has never distanced herself from her Filipino identity to seem more international or more palatable to Western audiences. She has leaned into exactly who she is, where she comes from, and what she represents. And Nike recognized that this authenticity is her greatest asset. In an era where athletes are constantly being packaged, polished, and presented through carefully curated images, Eala's genuine connection to her roots stands out. It is refreshing, it is real, and it is exactly what brands need when they're trying to build trust with communities that have historically been overlooked by mainstream sports marketing. The Sampagita flower is not just a pretty design element. It is a national flower of the Philippines. It represents purity, simplicity, humility, and strength. It is used in religious ceremonies, in celebrations, in moments of cultural significance. Every Filipino knows what it means. Every Filipino feels something when they see it. Nike took that symbol and placed it at the center of a global product launch. They did not dilute it. They did not try to make it more universal or strip away its cultural specificity. They honored it exactly as it is. And that decision is what makes this collection resonate so powerfully. Because when people from marginalized or underrepresented communities see their culture treated with respect on a global stage, it means something. It is not just commerce. It is validation. It is recognition. It is a statement that says, your story matters, your symbols matter, and you deserve to be seen. That is what Alex Eala represents every time she walks onto a court wearing that Sampagita headband. She is carrying an entire nation's pride with her, and she does it with grace, with humility, and with an understanding of exactly how significant that responsibility is. But here is where the story gets even more interesting, because Nike's investment in Eala is not just about the Philippines. It is about the entire Southeast Asian market, a region that represents one of the fastest growing consumer bases in the world. Tennis has been trying to crack Southeast Asia for decades. The region has passionate sports fans, growing middle classes with disposable income, and a hunger for global sports content. But tennis has always struggled to find the right ambassadors, the right stories, the right athletes who could genuinely connect with audiences across countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Alex Eala might be that bridge. She trains internationally. She competes on the global tour. But her identity is unmistakably Southeast Asian. She represents a part of the world that has been watching tennis from the outside for too long. And now, she has given them a reason to feel like they are part of the story. Nike understands that if they can build Eala into a regional icon, the commercial possibilities are enormous. Not just in merchandise sales, but in brand loyalty, in market penetration, in establishing themselves as a sports brand that genuinely understands and respects Southeast Asian athletes. And they're not waiting for her to win a Grand Slam to start that process. They are building it now, while she is still rising, while the story is still unfolding, while the connection with her fan base is organic and real. That is the genius of this strategy. By the time Alex Eala does break into the top 50, or wins her first WTA title, or makes a deep Grand Slam run, Nike will already be embedded in her story. They will not be jumping on the bandwagon. They will have been there from the beginning, and her fans will remember that. So where does this leave Alex Eala right now? Because let's be honest, the tennis world is brutal. Endorsement deals and merchandise launches are exciting, but none of it matters if you cannot back it up on the court. And Eala knows that better than anyone. She is currently grinding through the lower levels of the professional tour. She has been dealing with the harsh reality that winning at the junior level and competing against seasoned professionals are two completely different battles. The physicality is different. The mental pressure is different. The margin for error is almost non-existent. There have been tough losses. There have been matches where she was close, so close, and could not quite get over the line. There have been injuries that derail momentum just when things were starting to click. There have been weeks where the ranking barely moved, where the progress felt invisible, where the dream of playing Grand Slam main draws fell further away than ever. This is a reality that most promising juniors face. For every Coco Gauff who transitions seamlessly, there are dozens of junior champions who never quite make it. The tour does not care about your resume. It does not care about your potential. It only cares about what you can do right now, today, in this match against this opponent. But here's what separates the players who break through from the ones who fade away: resilience, adaptability, and the ability to handle pressure that comes from outside the tennis court. And Alex Eala is carrying pressure that most young players will never experience. Every time she plays, she is not just representing herself. She is representing an entire nation that has almost no history of success in professional tennis. Every match is watched by thousands of Filipinos who desperately want to see her succeed. Every loss is analyzed, discussed, debated. Every victory is celebrated like a national holiday. That kind of attention can crush a young athlete. It can create paralysis. It can make you play tight, play scared, play like you're trying not to lose instead of playing to win. But Eala has shown something in the way she carries herself, something in the way she talks about the pressure, that suggests she might have the mental fortitude to handle it. She does not run from the expectations. She does not shy away from talking about what it means to represent the Philippines. She embraces it. She talks about it with pride. And somehow, she has found a way to let it fuel her rather than suffocate her. That mentality is rare. And it is exactly what Nike is betting on. Because brands do not just invest in talent. They invest in character. They invest in athletes who can handle adversity, who can grow through setbacks, who can become the face of something larger without crumbling under the weight of it. Eala has been tested already. The transition from juniors to pros tested her. Injuries tested her. The pressure of an entire nation's hopes tested her. And she is still here, still fighting, still improving, still showing up with that Sampagita flower in her hair and that quiet determination in her eyes. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. There are people who will look at this story and say Nike is taking advantage of a cultural moment without Eala having earned it yet through ranking and results. And to those people, here is what needs to be said. The traditional path to sponsorship and recognition in tennis has always favored certain players, certain backgrounds, certain stories. If you came from an established tennis nation, if you fit a certain mold, if you had the right connections, the doors open easier. Athletes from non-traditional tennis countries have always had to work twice as hard for half the recognition. They have had to prove themselves beyond any reasonable doubt before brands would even consider them. What Nike is doing with Alex Eala is disrupting that pattern. They are recognizing that influence and marketability are not solely determined by your current ranking. They are recognizing that cultural impact matters. They are recognizing that there's enormous value in being first, in being a trailblazer, in representing a community that has been hungry for this kind of visibility. Is it a gamble? Absolutely. Eala might never crack the top 20. She might have a solid career, but never become a Grand Slam contender. That is possible, but it is also possible that she continues to develop, that she breaks through, that 5 years from now we are watching her compete in the second week of majors with an entire nation behind her and a Nike partnership that looks like one of the smartest investments a brand ever made. Either way, what Nike has created with the Sampagita collection is bigger than just one player's ranking trajectory. They have created a cultural moment. They have given the Filipino community something to rally around. They have made a statement about whose stories deserve to be told and celebrated in the world of professional tennis. And Alex Eala? She is handling it all with the same grace and humility that the Sampagita flower represents. She is not letting the hype go to her head. She is not coasting on endorsement deals and merchandise sales. She is still in the gym, still on the practice court, still fighting for every ranking point like her life depends on it. Because she knows that the only way this story has a happy ending is if she backs it all up with results. So what happens next? Where does this story go from here? Because right now, we are standing at a fascinating intersection. Alex Eala has the endorsement. She has the merchandise collection. She has the support of an entire nation and the backing of one of the most powerful brands in sports. She has everything in place except for the one thing that ultimately matters most in tennis, the results. And that is what makes the next 12 months absolutely crucial. This is not a situation where Eala can coast. The spotlight is on her now more than ever. The expectations have never been higher, and the tennis world is watching to see if she can transform all of this commercial success and cultural significance into actual wins on professional tour. The beauty of where she is right now is that she has the resources to succeed. Nike is not just paying her to wear their clothes. They are investing in her development. That means access to better training, better coaching, better recovery, better travel arrangements. All the little things that make a massive difference when you're trying to claw your way up the rankings. She has the mental framework. She has already proven she can handle pressure by winning a junior Grand Slam on one of the biggest stages in tennis. She knows what it feels like to deliver when everything is on the line. And she has the motivation. Every time she sees a Filipino fan wearing that Sampagita headband, every time she hears a roar of support when she walks onto a court, every time she thinks about the kids back home in the Philippines watching her and dreaming that they could do the same thing, she has a reason to push through the pain, through the doubt, through the brutal reality of professional tennis. But she also has something that could either help her or hurt her, depending on how she manages it. She has nothing left to prove off the court. Some athletes perform better when they are hungry, when they are chasing recognition, when they're trying to earn an endorsement deal. Once they get it, the fire dims, the urgency fades. They start playing not to lose what they have instead of playing to gain something more. Other athletes use that security as fuel. They take the pressure off financially and mentally, and suddenly they play freer, looser, more dangerously. They stop playing scared and start playing like they have nothing to lose. Which version of Alex Eala shows up over the next year will determine everything. If she can translate this cultural moment into tangible results, if she can break into the top 100 and start winning matches at WD level events, if she can make a legitimate run at qualify for major tournaments and then competing once she gets there, then this Nike partnership will be remembered as visionary. She will become the blueprint for how brands should invest in athletes from emerging markets. She will prove that cultural resonance and authentic connection can be just as valuable as current ranking. And she will inspire an entire generation of young players across Southeast Asia who will see her success and believe that they can follow the same path. But if the results do not come, if she stalls in the rankings, if injuries continue to plague her development, then this story becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of hype overwhelming substance. The truth is, we do not know yet which way this story goes. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes it so compelling. What we do know is that Alex Eala has already accomplished something remarkable. She has given the Philippines a tennis hero at a level the country has never had before. She has shown Nike and other major brands that Southeast Asian athletes deserve investment and visibility. She has created a merchandise collection that is not just clothing, but a symbol of pride for millions of people. And regardless of what happens on the court over the next few years, those accomplishments cannot be taken away from her. But here is what I believe. I believe that Alex Eala did not get this far by accident. I believe that someone who can win a junior Grand Slam, who can handle the pressure of representing an entire nation, who can speak with such authenticity and grace about what she represents, has something special inside her. I believe that the same determination that got her through the Rafa Nadal Academy, that carried her through countless challenger tournaments in anonymous cities, that pushed her to keep fighting even when the ranking barely moved, is still there. And I believe that we have not seen the best of Alex Eala yet. The Sampagita collection is beautiful. The Nike partnership is significant. The cultural moment is real. But all of that is just the beginning of the story, not the end. The real story will be written on tennis courts over the next few years. It will be written in qualifying rounds and first-round matches, and the gritty, unglamorous battles that determine whether a promising junior becomes a legitimate professional. It will be written in how she responds to adversity, how she handles inevitable losses, how she grows from the setbacks, and how she capitalizes on the opportunities when they come. And when that story is finally written, when we look back on this moment years from now, I think we're going to say that the Sampagita collection was not just a merchandise drop. It was the moment when the tennis world started paying attention. It was a moment when a young woman from the Philippines stepped fully into her role as a trailblazer. It was a moment when Nike made a bet that cultural impact and authentic connection matter just as much as current ranking. And it was a moment when Alex Eala, with that white flower in her hair and an entire nation behind her, showed the world that she was ready for everything that comes next. The sales numbers will fluctuate. The hype will rise and fall. But the significance of what Alex Eala represents, that is not going anywhere. And neither is she. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely want to know, do you believe Alex Eala becomes a top 50 player? Do you think Nike just made one of the smartest investments in tennis history? Or is this all hype? Drop your honest take in the comments right now, especially if you're watching from the Philippines or anywhere in Southeast Asia. I want to hear what this moment means to you. And listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, that tells me you're not here for surface level highlights. You want the real stories, the cultural context, the human drama behind the rankings. And that's exactly what this channel is built for. We're covering the stories that mainstream tennis media overlooks. The rising players who deserve your attention. The moments that matter beyond just who won and lost. And if that sounds like the kind of content you want to see more of, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you're here for every single upload. Because next video, we're breaking down something that's got the entire tennis world in shock. I'm talking about an upset so unexpected, so perfectly executed, that it's forcing coaches to completely rethink their strategies. That video drops in the next 48 hours, and you're not going to miss it. So subscribe, drop your prediction about Eala in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep following these incredible stories together.